It is my pleasure to introduce Greg Bennick. I've known Greg for years and I consider him a friend. Great speaker, motivator, and mentor. Greg is a professional speaker, speaking coach, humanitarian activist, and award-winning producer and writer. He has appeared at thousands of events since 1984 as a keynote speaker and entertainer. He speaks on themes related to communication, connection, and managing the unexpected to organizations worldwide. His artistic work focuses on projects which explore the depth and range of human experience, including Flight from Death, a 7-time Best Documentary Award-winning film narrated by Gabriel Byrne, which uncovers anxiety about mortality as a possible root cause of many of our violent and aggressive behaviors. In just the last year alone, Greg has spoken in over 22 countries. He recently concluded the first ever speaking tour of Russia across the entire country. He is the founder and executive director of 100 for Haiti, a development organization that has existed since just after the earthquake in Haiti. Here to tell us a little bit more about his humanitarian efforts in Haiti, please help me welcome Greg Bennick.
Haiti is our neighbor, essentially. Haiti shares an island with the Dominican Republic. Haiti is the western half of this island. And it's just off the coast of Florida. And as a neighbor to us, it essentially is us. So when the earthquake struck in 2010, like all of you, I sat around thinking, my gosh, what could be done for the people there? And I got together with a group of friends who were sailing out of Florida in an all-volunteer mission on a small sailboat about the size of the length of here to the back of the room with medical supplies and food. We gathered medical supplies and food in Miami and sailed for 8 days and nights within just a couple weeks of the quake around the western half of the island to a town called Jacmel, which is kind of dead center in the southern half of the country there. And we were the first private relief boat to hit the southern coast of Haiti. And it was a profound experience because when we arrived at Jacmel with all these supplies and food, we were greeted by locals on the dock. And one of them walked down the dock, and as we started to unload beans and rice, he looked at us, looked at me, and he said, "Welcome to Haiti. We see you as if God has arrived." And I thought to myself, what does it take in terms of desperation and need for someone to look at another human being and see them as a god simply because they brought rice and beans? I got off the boat sailed home, and I should clarify, I didn't sail home because they didn't want me on the boat. They sailed home because I wanted to stay in the country and see how things were going there. And I spent a few days wandering around the country, as it were, meeting people, talking to people, checking out the post-earthquake experience there. And then flew home. And by flew, at the time, there were no flights. I mean, you were only evacuated out by the US military. So I flew on a C-130 back to the United States and thought, what could I do for the people of Haiti? And I came up with this idea, 100 for Haiti. I thought if I could get 100 individuals or companies to each donate $1,000, I'd have $100,000 to donate for Haiti. I put out the word on social media, and what happened was fascinating. Friends from around the world, and I do a lot of extensive traveling, wrote to me and said, I couldn't possibly afford $1,000. Just not in this life. I just don't have that kind of money. Can I donate $1? Can I donate $2? Can I donate $5? I'll do without a cup of coffee each day this week. Can I donate $20? I thought, absolutely. It wasn't the plan, but why not? We raised enough money that we sent another boat down, meaning I sent a boat down with my friends, and the next boat that went down, these are the supplies that they brought 35,000 pounds of supplies to Haiti. And I thought this idea of 100 for Haiti, even though it wasn't the 100 people at $1,000 each that I had envisioned, this idea, I just like the name, 100 for Haiti, was a good concept because people were coming together to help our neighbor. So we sent 35,000 pounds of supplies and food down. And after that, we continued sending relief supplies, and 100 for Haiti became a 501c3 organization, and we started sending relief down to people in Haiti who really needed it. A doctor friend of mine in one of the poorest communities in Port-au-Prince was giving away medical supplies and medicine, essentially, after the quake. So we started sending down medical supplies to stock the shelves of his medical clinic. And he was literally giving these things away to people who were coming in, some with ghastly injuries, some with minor injuries, some with headaches and soreness and pain and whatnot. But we were giving away supplies based on these $1, $2, $5, and $20 donations that he was then giving away to local people there. We started thinking, what other ways can we support people in Haiti? And we started to get creative. We didn't want to just send money, because oftentimes we send money and then we're done. We thought we wanted to get creative. I heard about a safe house for former child slave boys that had been saved from slavery. And my team, because it started just as me, and then all of a sudden it was my friends, we started working together. The team thought, you know what if we do something for these former child slave boys? So we raised enough money to send them bikes one holiday season. And we sent each of the boys that lived in this safe house a bicycle. I mean, to us, who we all grew up with bikes, when one broke, we got another one. Might not seem like a thing. But to a kid who was literally a slave, sold into slavery in Haiti, to get a bike, earth-shattering, amazing, unbelievable. In my files on my laptop, I have drawings that all the boys in the safe house drew of themselves on the bikes that they sent to me saying thank you for these bikes. So they were riding the bikes around and just happy, some of them laughing for the first time in months or years. It was really tremendous. So I realized at that point that it's really about the youth, meaning Haiti is a country, the history of which we don't have time to go into, which has struggled desperately for the last couple hundred years, but their future is about the youth. And I kept thinking, what can we do to develop the youth? Because really, the youth of Haiti is where the country will find its healing. People all the time, this morning included, they ask, how are things going in Haiti? Is it getting any better? Well, it's getting better because we're building relationships with young people there. That's a perfect example of a great young person. And building relationships is critical. It means actually flying down there, as I try to do a couple times a year, and getting to know people, not just flying in, taking pictures and leaving, but really getting to know them and establishing relationships with young people there. It was at that point that 100 for Haiti, after going down a few times, that I realized I didn't want it to just be a relief organization. I didn't want to just send money and call it good. I wanted 100 for Haiti to be a development organization. And with that in mind, I thought, how could we work with local people to establish development of community and development of their future? In the northern part of Haiti, cholera is still a huge problem. You might have heard in the news a few years ago that Haiti was rampaged by cholera. There had never been cholera in Haiti before. It was introduced accidentally to the water table in Haiti by a UN worker, unfortunately. And cholera never leaves the water table. It's a deadly disease. The reason I bring it up is because in the north of Haiti, even though in Port-au-Prince it's largely been treated, the water table is still affected by cholera. And we thought, what could we do as a basic human necessity in terms of the water there to help people and help develop a community? We thought, what can we do to help with the water there? And what we did is we came up with a program where we helped build water tanks in the north of Haiti, in small villages. And up in the upper left there is a water tank. This is so simple in terms of development. This is like the foundation of what makes it possible for people to live and grow and develop and nurture themselves and their communities. Just having clean water. When a storm happens and cholera, which is now deep in the water table, rises to the surface, the local people who are drinking water from natural springs are essentially drinking water with cholera in it. So in these local communities, what we did in conjunction with local people is we built tanks like the one there. The water now that used to flow from a spring directly into the essentially mouths of the local people flows into those tanks that we're building. Those tanks can then be treated with the slightest, tiniest bit of a chemical that will kill the cholera and still allow the water to be safe to drink. So now people locally in these small communities don't have to worry about dying of cholera. And to give you a sense of scope, we just built 10 of these tanks. It cost us around $8,000, maybe a little bit less, $7,500. That's going to save 15,000 lives from cholera. And that's not hyperbole. That's literally 15,000 people who will not die the next time they drink water that would have been infected with cholera. Simply because now they can treat their own water. And they built the tanks too. We find local people, we send the money down, and in coordination, they build their own tanks with local workers. It's like people get jobs and they get to save themselves. That's the, I think, essence of development, is empowerment. So there's a program called Moto Logistics, which is really at the core of what 100 for Haiti is doing. I was walking through a tent city in Port-au-Prince. And as you probably saw in the news, after the earthquake, people were living in tents for a very long time, 60,000, 70, 80,000, 100. The numbers are almost incalculable. But living in small tents, the type that we might go out camping in for a weekend. And people were living in them for a year, 2 years on the street. Any place that was grassy became essentially a tent city. So in a very wealthy neighborhood called Pétionville, the golf course became home for thousands and thousands of people. Soccer fields became homes for thousands of people. Median strips in the road became homes for hundreds of thousands of people. And I was walking through one of these tent cities, and a man saw my 100 for Haiti t-shirt, and he stopped me. He said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm a Haitian man." And I said, "Well, I'm here with 100 for Haiti." And he said, "Well, what do you do?" And I said, "Well, we give money, and we've done this with that and this and that with this money." And he sort of sighed, and he smiled, and he thanked me for what we had done. But he said something then which changed everything. He said, "I don't want money. I want a way to make money." He just kind of shrugged off, the conversation a little bit. He said, "Here, let me show you the tent city." We walked the tent city, and I said that over and over again. I don't want money. I want a way to make money. About 1,000 times in my mind as we walked around, because I realized what was at the core. What was at the core of his idea for relief or development was empowerment. He wanted to be empowered. He didn't want people to come in and give him a handout. He wanted to be able to survive on his own accord. He didn't want money. He wanted a way to make money. So we came up with an idea at 100 for Haiti. And the idea was this. We thought, if the youth of Haiti are the future, and if at the core of the youth is the need for basic necessities like clean water, which we were providing with the water tank program, what we needed to do was provide a way that youth could empower themselves. You've got young people who don't have essentially an economic future of any kind. We thought, how could we grant that to them, but have them be the inspirers, them be the empowered ones who created that reality for themselves. Almost half the country, if not more, some say almost 80% of people in Haiti get around by moto taxi. Dirt bikes, essentially, motorized motorbikes, small motorcycles. If I need to get from here to the equivalent in Haiti of, say, Westlake Center, I jump on the back of somebody who happens to drive by on one of these motorcycle dirt bikes. I pay them a few pennies, half a dollar, whatever it might be, whatever I can afford, whatever they charge. I jump on the back of their motorcycle, they drive me, it's like a taxi. So we thought, with 100 for Haiti, what if we were to provide funding for young people to be able to buy a motorbike, a motorcycle, and then drive that motorcycle by day as help for, say, an organization, maybe a medical clinic. Maybe it was somebody at a medical clinic or somebody who needed to transport patients or supplies back and forth. But then what if by night they used it as a moto taxi? What if the organization they worked for hired them to use that motorcycle as a moto taxi? Essentially, you'd have young people as taxi drivers with their own motorbike. And we did it on a microloan basis so that it wasn't a handout. The thought was, if we provide funding for these young people to have this motorcycle with the idea that it was a microloan, they'd have some skin in the game. And what I mean is this, that we said to them, listen, take the amount of money that comes in from your use of these motorcycle taxis, take the tiniest percent, like 3 or 4%, 5%, set it aside. That you pay back to 100 for Haiti over the life of you owning this motorbike. Take another 10%, put that aside. It's kind of a requirement of the program. That's your repair fund. Get a flat tire, happens all the time in Haiti. You've got a contingency for repairs. Take the rest of the money, split it up, half of it. Have it go to the organization that is inspiring you or working with you to deliver supplies, food, patients, whatnot. Take the other half of the remaining money, keep it for yourself. Every single person who's gotten one of these motorcycles is following this plan. Tiny bit goes to repay the loan, tiny bit for repairs, tiny bit for the organization or the city or the town, and then a bunch for themselves, a bunch of money for themselves. So what we have is a situation where over a handful of years, 100 for Haiti gets our donation back, slowly but surely. The person driving the motorcycle, they get a job. They get to donate money locally, which helps build community, and it's self-sustaining because they've got a little bit of a repair fund. And since most of the country is driving around and needing rides on these motorbikes, essentially it's just this self-perpetuating cycle that it just keeps working. The part I love about it is that when people now are donating to 100 for Haiti, rather than saying, great, thank you, we're going to take your money and go do something important with it, and they say, okay, see you later, money, bye. That money now comes back over a couple years. It comes back through the program itself. So this young man named Bennick is the most recent recipient of the Moto Logistics program. He lives in a village called Ranquite, which is a small village in sort of the central north part of the country. And he was overjoyed. He loved the shirt, he loved the moto, he liked the idea that he could drive around and be a part of this program and help develop community. And he's driving his moto, not just for himself, but in support of a medical clinic that was being built by some partners of 100 for Haiti in his village. So he feels an active role in the development and empowerment of his village, of his town. This is one of the motorbikes. This one is a little sportier, but this is an example of one of the motorbikes. And this young man is a driver from a village called La Source. La Source is near Jacmel in the southern part of the country. What we realized is that if we want young people in Haiti to be empowered, what we have to do is give them the tools to empower themselves. Because, for example, if a kid like this is just wandering the streets of Jacmel or wandering around La Source with nothing to do, this is a young person who is never going to be empowered or educated. But give them a sense of purpose, give them a sense of meaning, which is something that we all, even us in this room, aspire to, want, and need. And all of a sudden you've begun to form the basis of culture, you've begun to form the basis of empowerment, you've begun to form the basis of development. And by culture, I don't mean that they're cultureless. I mean a culture of empowerment and a culture of inspiration, where all of a sudden he says, okay, I've got a source of income now. I'm providing for myself. What else can I do with my life? So now, this is a young guy who wants to be in school, wants to be learning. He's empowering other people in his community too to say, hey, listen, you could get involved with this project as well. So what 100 for Haiti is looking to do is put the Moto Logistics program in more communities like La Source and like Ranquite. And it's not an expensive endeavor. I mean, a moto like that is about $1,100 or so. We buy a helmet because we don't like the idea of people driving around without helmets. We also fill it with a tank of gas. We provide the first year of insurance. All told, above $1,500 gets this program started and changes a life. So we've been looking to put Moto Logistics in as many communities as possible. And sort of the vision, I guess, is to imagine different parts of the country with the Moto Logistics program running, and then have that spread throughout the country. I would love in 10 years to have Moto Logistics, instead of currently where it's in a handful of communities, to be in dozens of communities, and then see the effect on those communities. Had I the technical wherewithal, I'd play you a video today of a man from La Source talking about the effect of Moto Logistics on the village. And he said essentially that these motos are life, is the way he described it. I mean, I drive a Toyota Matrix. I like it, it's comfortable. I've never described it as life. I mean, it gets me from here to there. But this isn't just a mode of transportation for these kids. It's a mode of empowerment, a mode of development, and a mode of inspiration that's going to keep them going and focus them on the things that are important to all of us. Having a valuable life, having an educated young life, and having a developed community. So those are the basics of what 100 for Haiti is doing. And you can find out more at 100forhaiti.org, 100forhaiti.org. It's printed on the sticker and on the business card if you're interested in getting involved. And that, when I say getting involved, it's not a subtextual request for your money. You'd be amazed at how powerful people can be beyond just money. Meaning, when I think to myself, what would I want people to do for 100 for Haiti? Sure, if someone wants to give me a check for $1,000, $100, $10, $1, that's fantastic. But what if somebody had a connection to get a story on 100 for Haiti in local media? What if somebody knew somebody on a television program, cable, mainstream, otherwise, who wanted to interview me for 3 minutes about 100 for Haiti? That goes so far. What if there was a newsletter for your company or your organization that you wanted to do just a quick little blurb on 100 for Haiti, direct people to the website? What if you wanted to hand out stickers or business cards sometime? What if you wanted to tell your friends? That's what I mean by getting involved. If you're interested in getting involved, check out 100forhaiti.org, and my direct contact information is on the table right there in front of you. So I have a few minutes right now for questions. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have, and we'll start in the back of the room.
A lot of people look at the poverty problem as a top-down, wealth of too many people, corruption, all that. You're starting from the bottom up. Do you think that's a solution, or do you think that will create and solve the top-down problem?
There is a tremendous top-down problem in Haiti, and it's a couple hundred years old. Okay, not to be flippant about the history of Haiti, but when Haiti overthrew its slave owners in the early 1800s, that was a turning point in its history because it was shunned for that. At the time in the United States, slavery was a thing. It was a basis of a lot of the economy, and the United States essentially shunned Haiti and basically kind of pushed it aside and marginalized it because freedom was bad for business, I guess. But when the slaves empowered themselves in Haiti in the early 1800s, they essentially cut themselves off in a lot of ways, and that created a situation where they were fending for themselves. They've had a very hard time for the last couple hundred years without the active support that other countries have enjoyed. So corruption is huge there. Lack of a substantial economy is huge. And when I say corruption, I don't just mean police, I mean the government as well. Largely, it's ineffective at times. It's a big problem. So there's a lot of top-down problems, political and historical. What 100 for Haiti has chosen to do is say, yes, history, yes, politics, yes, corruption, but focus on actual people. Do I think it's a solution? If Moto Logistics solved the problem of Haiti, it would be, I don't know how else to say it, a divine miracle. Meaning I can't imagine a day where all of Haiti looks like downtown Seattle, right? And everybody is happy and just it's all wine, roses, unicorns, and rainbows because of Moto Logistics. But I'll tell you, for the people that we are serving, it is life-changing. For the people in La Source, life-changing. For the people in Ranquille, life-changing. For the 15,000 people, for example, who are not drinking water infected with cholera, would they argue top-down, bottom-up? They don't care. They're alive, right? So that's the way that I'm thinking about it. What we need in Haiti is many different approaches. 100 for Haiti, top-down, bottom-up, otherwise, all coming together, because there's just a tremendous amount going on there. It's incredibly complex. Yeah, in the back.
Yeah, you mentioned cholera. What is cholera?
Cholera is water, and I'm not a doctor. I work with doctors, so take everything that I say now as something you need to Google. But I have to verify. Cholera is a waterborne disease, and you know what? I'm not even going to say waterborne. Cholera was passed into the water table through somebody who was sick with cholera, like I said, a UN worker. It's a disease that is a slowly wasting disease where if not treated, you die essentially of vomiting and diarrhea, essentially. Things that are preventable through the cheapest of drugs. Medical professionals that I work with say that it costs a handful of cents, 25 cents, to save a life from cholera if someone's sick with cholera. But oftentimes the things that you need to save somebody, just the basic solutions and basic medicines are not available in Haiti. They're just not. I mean, when I showed up even recently, a few months ago in Haiti, with a group of medicines, like was in one of the earlier pictures, and I had with me anti-diarrheal drugs, and I had some aspirin and things like that. The folks in La Source were like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, I mean, got a bottle of aspirin in my ibuprofen in my car. I didn't even think about it. It's next to business cards and gloves or whatever. I didn't even think about it. There was like, thank you. So the most basic drugs can help with cholera, or clean water, for example. The sanitation we take for granted. So, you had a question.
How is the organizational coordination among nonprofits? So we have Save the Children, Sean Penn goes in. I'm just wondering how does this work, or is there some kind of center?
I don't think there is a central coordination system in Haiti of nonprofits. There were lots of nonprofits. After the earthquake, 10,000 registered NGOs in Haiti. I have no idea what all of them were doing. When I was there in January, I heard that there were 60. So in the last 4 years, people have moved on. 100 for Haiti is committed to the idea of commitment. And Sean Penn is still there. His organization does brilliant work. He's found homes for tens and tens of thousands of people who are in those 10 cities. I mean, his resources are tremendous. Like 100 for Haiti, if we do a benefit, we raise a few $100s, talk to a handful of brilliant people like yourselves, this is a tremendous day. Sean Penn's organization last time they did a major benefit, they had a musical guest. You know, today our musical guest didn't show up. His musical guest, Sean Penn's musical guest, was a little-known group. You might have heard of them. They're called U2. He called them and said, "Hey, you haven't played a show internationally in 2 or 3 years. Why don't you come and play my benefit?" And they raised millions of dollars. So there is no coordination as far as I know, but we're just doing the best we can with the resources that we do have. So, and yeah, do we have time for one more question? One more question.
You mentioned that these drivers work with organizations during the day, and then they drive for themselves. And like, where's their time to get educated? And what is the education infrastructure like in Haiti? Is there a place where they can get at least educated?
Brilliant question. So, just in the interest of time, to overgeneralize by day, work with organizations, by night, drive taxis, it makes it sound like it's a 24-hour endeavor, right? But realistically, time with these moto taxis is not absolute. They can split it up. They can work as little or as much as they want. The educational infrastructure is weak in Haiti at best, especially outside of Port-au-Prince. We do a lot of our work in rural communities. So oftentimes a village might have a school, and that school is happening by day. And the idea is that these kids will be in school by day studying, and then when they get out of school, they can drive, which is still daytime into the night. There's no board of education, say, in a lot of these rural communities, because you're dealing with a building which might be a school the size of, you know, some of the tables that have gathered here today and sit. But the idea is that the kids will be using their time effectively, you know, to be in school and to be working, and, you know, in all those regards, to be educating and empowering themselves. So, if you have any other questions, my business card's at the table. Feel free to email me, and thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it today.